educate yourself with how the business of the National Assembly is conducted.
Administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Machele, take the nearest seat. Honorable members, welcome to the afternoon session. I wish to recognize a delegation of staff from the Parliament of Ghana. I wish to welcome 4 members of staff from the Hansard Department of the Parliament of Ghana. The officers are on a visit to the National Assembly to benchmark with the Directorate of Hansard and Audio Services to gain practical knowledge in end-to-end editorial workflow and to adopt best practices in Hansard production. They are welcome to observe the proceedings of the National Assembly. Thank you. In Ghana, thank you, they say midase. Also allow me, honorable members, to welcome Masinde Muliro University of Science and Technology. I believe they are students from Lurambi, Kakamega. On my behalf and on behalf of the House, we welcome you to the House of Parliament. Enjoy the proceedings. Next.
Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers.
Majority Leader.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Wednesday, November 12th, 2025, afternoon sitting. Reports of the Auditor General and the financial statement for the year ended 30th June 2025 and the certificates therein with respect to 1. Affordable Housing Finance Project, IBRD credit number 8958-KE, the National Treasury. Number 2, Global Fund Project to contribute to achieving Vision 2030 through universal access to comprehensive HIV prevention, treatment, and care. Project number KEN-H-TNT 2065, Ministry of Health. 3, Global Fund Project to contribute to achieving Vision 2030 through universal access to comprehensive HIV prevention, treatment, care grant number KEN-H-TNT-4147 National Syndemic Disease Control Council. Number 4, Green Zone Development Support Project, Phase 2, credit number PKE-AAD-005, Kenya Forest Service. Number 5, Horn of Africa Gateway Development Project, IDA, credit number 6768-KE, Kenya Revenue Authority. Number 6, Kenya ETF Reporting Program to the UNFCCC Project, State Department for Environmental and Climate Change. 7, Kenya Institute for the Blind. 8, National Commission for Science, Technology, and Innovation. 9, National Council for Nomadic Education in Kenya. 10, National Youth Opportunities Towards Advancement Project credit number 7355-KE and grant number E210-KE, State Department of Labor and Skills Development. Number 11, Public Debt Management Support Project, ADB, grant agreement number 500155013 the National Treasury. Number 12, Reproductive Health Output-Based Approach, RH-OBA, Program Project Number BMZ, Number Kenya 2010-65853, Ministry of Health. Number 13, State Department for Parliamentary Affairs. 14, State Department for Technical Vocational Education and Training. And number 15, technical support to the French desk at the National Treasury, project grant number AFD CKE 120401E, the National Treasury. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I lay.
Thank you, Deputy Majority Whip. Next.
Order number 6, notices of motion. Order number 7, questions and statements.
Requests for statements. Joseph Hamisi, nominated member. Who is Hamisi? Joseph Hamisi. Abdul Haro, Mandera South. Zamzam Mohammed, Mama Mombasa.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to provision of Standing Order 44-2C, I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs regarding the status of compensation to the victims of Owino area over lead poisoning in Jomvu constituency. Honorable Speaker, the residents of Owino area in Jomvu constituency have endured severe health and environmental impacts resulting from lead poisoning caused by toxic waste from Metal Refinery EPZ Limited. On 6th of December 2024, the Supreme Court upheld a judgment awarding the residents 1.3 billion Kenya shillings in compensation for personal injury and loss of life arising from environmental pollution caused by the lead acid battery recycling plant. The judgment affirmed the grave suffering inflicted on the victims, particularly women and children, including cases of stillbirth, organ failure, and death. Regrettably, the residents are yet to receive compensation. The inaction has prolonged the suffering of the affected families, many of whom endured chronic illness. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the Departmental Committee of Justice and Legal Affairs on the following. 1. The status of enforcement of the Supreme Court judgment issued on 6th December 2024 regarding the compensation of residents of Winauru area in Jomvu constituency who suffered severe health effects due to lead poisoning from toxic waste emanated by Metal Refinery EPZ Limited. 2, the steps being taken by the government through the National Environmental Authority and other relevant bodies to implement and enforce the court's decision so as to safeguard the rights of victims. 3, the immediate measures being put in place to ensure that the affected families receive urgent medical and financial assistance. And 4, the mechanism put in place to ensure compliance with environmental conservation measures to forestall further emission of toxics by Metal Refinery EPZ Limited. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Mama Zamzam. Jailak, Murugara, members of Jailak, Majority Leader, can you inform the Honorable Murugara to bring a response in 2 weeks?
I will do so, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Honorable Tungule.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. This is a request for a statement regarding the death and burial of the late Jessica Kashutu Zero in Saudi Arabia. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order number 44-2C, I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Relations regarding the circumstances surrounding the death and burial of the late Jessica Kashutu Zero, a Kenyan citizen who passed away in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Honorable Speaker, the late Jessica Kashutu Zero, a resident of Sosodemu Village, Madamani sublocation in Ganze constituency, was working in Riyadh City, Saudi Arabia, as a domestic worker when he tragically passed away on 30th June 2025. Following her death, the Integrated Center for Peace and Security, ICPS, a registered non-governmental organization that assists Kenyans in distress abroad, wrote to the Principal Secretary, State Department of Diaspora Affairs on the 7th August 2025, seeking assistance to facilitate repatriation of the remains. However, while follow-ups were being made with the Diaspora Affairs Office, the organization and the family were informed that the late Jessica Kashutu Zero had been buried in Saudi Arabia, together with 5 other Kenyans without the knowledge and consent of the families, and apparently without notification to the government of Kenya. The families of the deceased are therefore seeking justice, transparency, and closure. They wish for exhumation and repatriation of the remains of their loved ones for burial in Kenya. This revelation has caused deep anguish and confusion among the families, who have since appealed to the government for intervention and for communication with Saudi authorities to establish how such burials could have occurred without their knowledge and consent. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I seek a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Defense, Intelligence, and Foreign Relations on the following. 1, the cause of death of the late Jessica Kashutu Zero, whether any postmortem examination was conducted in Saudi Arabia, and the postmortem report. 2nd, details of the person or body that granted authorization of the burial of the late Jessica Kashutu Zero and the other Kenyan citizens in Saudi Arabia without the consent of their families, and whether the government of Kenya was notified. 3rd, the steps being taken by the ministry to facilitate the exhumation and repatriation of the remains of the deceased person to Kenya for proper burials by their families. And lastly, measures in place to ensure that Kenyans working abroad, especially domestic workers, are accorded their rights, and that their employers are held accountable for any death, unpaid dues, or violations of international labor laws. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Signed today by Honorable Kazungu Tungule, MP Ganze. Thank you, sir.
You are directing to which committee?
It is the committee, the chairperson, Committee on Defense, Intelligence, and Foreign Relations.
Is member for Konoini here? Bashir, you are the vice chair. Bring a response in 2 weeks.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. We will bring the response in 2 weeks.
Which chair are you addressing?
The Speaker.
Yes.
Sorry, Mr. Speaker. We'll bring the response in 2 weeks' time.
2 weeks. Thank you. Wakili Muriu.
Thank you, Mr.
As
Speaker.
Wakili stands, is Joseph Hamis in the house? And is Abdul Haro in the house? Go on, Wakili.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of the Standing Order number 44-2C, I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure regarding the delayed completion of the Kirwara, Kegio, Jogo, Kimakia Road, Kimatu, Idangarare, Magomano Road, and Diara, Keriaine, Wadohi Road in Gatanga constituency. Honorable Speaker, the Kenya Rural Roads Authority, KERA, is mandated to develop, maintain, and manage rural roads across the country. Despite the initiation of the Kirora Kegio Kimakia and Kimatu Idangarare and Magomano Road way back in 2017, the roads remain incomplete to date, and the contractor has since vacated site without explanation. The situation has caused immense inconvenience to local residents who continue to grapple with the poor road conditions that hinder access to essential services and economic opportunities. Similarly, the Ndiara Keriaine Wadohi Road, whose constructions commenced in 2021, also remains incomplete. The contractor has abandoned the site midway, leaving the roads in an impassable state. It is believed that the contractor abandoned the sites due to delayed payment by the responsible agencies. The current state of these roads has adversely affected the transport, trade, access to school markets, and health facilities in the constituency. The President himself has made numerous promises to make good of those roads. Honorable Speaker, it's against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure on the following. One, plans by the Kenya Rural Roads Authority, KERA, to complete construction of Kirwara, Kegio, Jogo, Kimakia Road, Kimatu, Idangarare, Magomano Road, considering that considering that the contract commenced way back in 2017. Expected timelines when the contractor will return to the site to complete the construction of the Ndiara, Keriaini, Wadohi Road. And thirdly, Mr. Speaker, measures the ministry has put in place to ensure that such long-standing projects are completed within stipulated timelines and to ensure timely payments of contractors to prevent project delays. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Muriu. Chair Transport. Daud. Give to Daud.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'd wish to respond first to...
You can't.
Sorry?
It's a request that has been
it was
made
a request.
now.
Sorry, I thought it was the statement.
You are not,
yes,
you are
we
not
will...
attending.
Sorry, Mr. Speaker. We
Bring
will
a
respond
response.
to Honorable Murillo within 2 weeks.
Good. Now we go to Honorable Dena. Are you ready with your request? Not yet. So we'll come back to that. Let's go to responses. Is Dick Maungu in the house? Honorable Dick Maungu. Honorable Zamzam. Dawood, are you ready? To Honorable Zamzam on the safety of ferries. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I had them for Maungu.
There he walks in. So you start with Maungu. Maungu, can you tender an apology for your late coming? Give him the mic. The house starts at 2:30.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I actually sincerely apologize for walking in late. I was headed up somewhere. I'm very sorry, Mr. Speaker.
Daud, Respond to the request by Honorable Dick Maungo of Rwanda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I wish to respond to Honorable Maungu's question regarding the report on the assessment of the management on operational strategies of Kenya Airways.
To the office first, yeah.
Yes.
Let's do it tomorrow.
Kenya Airways, including its current fleet, position, growth trajectory, and regional competitiveness. Honorable Speaker, the assessment reveals a tale of past challenges and promising turnaround. Kenya Airways' current operational strategy is anchored on the Project Kifaru, a bold initiative launched in 2021 and refined in 2023, which focuses on aggressive cost containment, strategic debt restructuring, diversifying revenue streams. That this disciplined execution culminated in an historic achievement.
Order, Honorable Dena. Can you go back where you've come from? Go to the bar, bow, and cross the floor. It's now 3 years since we started. I'm sure you know this. Go. Doubt.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I will repeat routes. Of this, 25 aircraft, 64% are leased, while 36% are owned or under finance lease. The fleet is currently adequate for its existing network of over 40 destinations across 4 continents. However, for future growth, the airline plans to add 21 aircraft over the next decade and invest in wide-body freighters to address cargo capacity shortages. Number 4, Honorable Speaker, it's the growth trajectory is focused on densifying network, expanding connectivity to Asia, the Middle East, and North America, and transitioning from the small Embraer E190s to the larger, more efficient medium-haul aircraft. On regional competitiveness, Honorable Speaker, KQ operates in an intensely competitive environment. It faces strong rivals as the Ethiopian Airlines, which benefits from deep state integration and a fleet of over 140 aircraft. Rwanda Air, which is fully government funded and now has Qatar Airways as a 49% equity partner and heavily subsidized Gulf carriers. A key differentiator for these competitors is the scale and structure of government support, which integrates airline strategy with hub development and provides policy protection. Regarding the plans by the Ministry of Roads and Transport to restore public confidence, improve service, customer service, and ensure Kenya Airways remains competitive. Honorable Speaker, the Ministry has a multi-pronged strategy to achieve these objectives. 1, the draft National Aviation Policy, a comprehensive policy that has been completed and awaits parliamentary approval to guide the sector's sustainable growth, safety, and competitiveness. 2, long-term investment plan for JKIA. The ministry with Kenya Airports Authority is implementing a modernization plan for Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, including terminal expansion and runway rehabilitation to enhance KQ's operational base. Number 3, JKIA Service Charter, launched in March 2025. This charter sets clear performance standards for all airport stakeholders to ensure accountability, efficiency, and a customer-focused experience. Number 4, Interministerial Stroke Agency Committee. A high-level committee has been established to address specific challenges affecting KQ's competitiveness, including outstanding government debts and blocked funds in foreign markets. Number 5, Fly Kenya policy. This policy mandates the use of Kenya Airways and other local carriers for official government travel, boosting the airline's revenue and market share. Number 6, the airline partnerships and code-share agreements. The ministry supports KQ's efforts to expand strategic global alliances to enhance its network reach. Number 7, negotiation of bilateral air service agreements, that is BASAs. The ministry is proactively negotiating BASAs to secure more favorable and equitable terms for Kenya Airways in key international markets. Regarding the specific measures being undertaken to ensure that financial support is tied to performance conditions to protect the interests of taxpayers. Honorable Speaker, the government support to Kenya Airways has been structural, not as unconditional bailouts, but as performance-linked, repayable shareholder loans. Since March 2020, KQ has received 25 billion in such loans. Crucially, these loans earn interest for the Kenyan public and are repayable in full. This support is tied to strict conditions to protect the taxpayer, including 1, restructuring obligations, funds such as those under the Project
Can you
Kifaru.
paraphrase your statement?
It is finishing, Mr. Speaker. It's finishing. It's just 2 more. Project Kifaru.
2 pages or 2 paragraphs?
It's only 2 small paragraphs. 2 lines, where conditional on reducing aircraft lease costs, meeting creditor obligations, and implementing staff rationalization. 2, enhance governance and reporting. Disbursements require enhanced reporting to the National Treasury and Parliament, ensuring transparent and effective use of public funds. And lastly, audit by the Auditor General. Every financial support package is subject to audit by the Office of the Auditor General to ensure accountability. This approach ensured that KQ did not collapse, which would have caused an estimated USD 3.2 billion economic loss to Kenya, and instead treats public funds as an investment that will yield returns for the nation. I submit on behalf of my chair, Honorable G.K. Kariuki, a chairperson, Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure. Mr. Speaker, that's the...
Dick Maungu.
Thank you, Speaker. Once again, Mr. Speaker, I did say that I'm sorry for walking in late. I was held up in a meeting with artists in my office, and that's why I walked in late. All the same, Mr. Speaker, yesterday I got a 28-page document that did outline from KQ that talked about my questions, Mr. Speaker. But, Mr. Speaker, what the chairman has actually read, to me, is more perfunctory than at its best, because it does not address the real issues, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker.
Indeed, Daoud, your statement was a litany of problems of Kenya Airways instead of strategies of Kenya Airways.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
That's how I had it. I don't know.
Mr. Speaker.
It's up to you.
Mr. Speaker, I did put the question, but what Daoud has actually given is a whole story from 2012. Mr. Speaker, KQ has engaged in massive projects from Project Bawingu, Operation Pride, Project Safari, Project Kifaru, but they are not addressed the real issues that KQ is suffering, Mr. Speaker. My question was, more of it, Mr. Speaker, I wanted to hear plans by the ministry, or rather KQ, to improve public confidence, to improve customer service, and ensure Kenyan Airways remains competitive, Mr. Speaker. Of late, Kenya Airways, Mr. Speaker, does not serve the public as it should. We have frequent cancellation of flights, Mr. Speaker. We have mistreatment of passengers at the airport, Mr. Speaker. As late as last week, Mr. Speaker, on Sunday, a member of this House was mishandled by a member with disability. His wheelchair was actually put in a cargo, whatever, Mr. Speaker, and he was left by KQ. So the chairman has not come out to actually tell us what it is that KQ is doing to ensure there's public confidence in KQ, Mr. Speaker. Their flights are expensive for nothing, Mr. Speaker. They keep on cancelling flights without due notice, Mr. Speaker. So to me, this statement does not meet the threshold, and I wish that the chair can do more to this, Mr. Speaker. This is a weighty matter. I'm sure most of these members would also wish to talk on the same, because it's a weighty matter, Mr. Speaker, and KQ must improve. KQ must pull up its socks, Mr. Speaker, to ensure that public confidence, being a national carrier, Mr. Speaker, does as well. Mr. Speaker, you discover that...
You are now making a speech. You are just supposed to seek a clarification.
That's what I'm seeking in many words. Mr. Speaker, in Africa, KQ was the pride of Africa. But as we speak, it is not, Mr. Speaker. Ethiopian Airways, the Emirates, Rwandan Air are now beating a giant like KQ. So, Mr. Speaker, I beseech you and seek your indulgence that the statement must be redone so that we can actually have answers to these critical questions. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, I was just watching your facial appearance, and you were bored with the answer given, because you are wondering, was this the KQ that you are used to or a different KQ? Because that answer was totally referring to another KQ maybe in the utopian world. Mr. Speaker, having said this, over the years, we have branded this as our national flag carrier, the pride of Africa. I'm not sure whether I'm willing to carry that tag of KQ being the flag of the pride of Africa. I wouldn't want to call it the shame of Africa. But that being said, Mr. Speaker, over the years, since I joined this parliament, the government of Kenya has offered KQ structural support, technical support, financial support, administrative support. The only thing that we get in return is wastages, poor PR, losses, Mr. Speaker. And this is the reason. The reason is this. The planes in use are all owned by cartels, Mr. Speaker. They are all owned by cartels who have leased to KQ at exorbitant rates, Mr. Speaker. And until that is addressed, then we are wasting public money, Mr. Speaker. And I want to challenge the chairman who has asked, start from the Boeing and all the other planes in service in KQ, find out who are the owners. You'll be surprised. It is owned by cartels. Mr. Speaker, if you dig further, you will make a loss. What measures has the KQ management put in place to remedy first their poor PR, the financial loss, Mr. Speaker, the wastages, and all the other challenges affecting KQ, including the poor government system? Mr. Speaker, if you are to travel today on an economy from here to Mombasa is the same cost as from here to Emirates, KQ. What are we saying? Does KQ operate in a different IATA platform, or this is a completely different airline? It is high time that we institute a select committee, Mr. Speaker, a select committee out of this question, comprising of professional members, Mr. Speaker, from this House, to critically interrogate the challenges facing KQ. That answer ought to be thrown to the dustbin. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I want to join my colleague here who asked for the statement, the member for Luanda, in saying that this statement needs to be redone. Because the statement simply is saying that you should not compare KQ with Qatar and others because they are government funded. The last time I checked, government owns about 48% of KQ. And Qatar and the rest are going to be, they are five-star airlines. But my question, Mr. Speaker, if I could take from what Honorable Kenani is saying, apart from the cartels of ownership, last week when you invited us to Mombasa, when I boarded when we were going to board the aircraft, we were taken by bus from the gate to the plane. And the bus took 1.5 minutes to arrive to the destination. And I'm sure that the owner of the bus was paid. And this is one of the many ways in which KQ is using to make it more expensive for it to run, and it is not running away from any cost cutting. It's not doing any cost cutting. In fact, we need to investigate more.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am of the contrary opinion, Mr. Speaker. The challenges in KQ are systemic.
Honorable Member for KO South. This
Yes,
is
sir.
not a debate. This
No,
is a statement.
I'm just giving a small background.
You are standing either to seek a clarification or nothing.
Okay, allow me 1 minute, Mr. Speaker, to just give a clarification.
What are you clarifying? You are not the respondent to the question.
I'm not a shareholder. Okay, Mr. Speaker.
If it's in your opinion that Kenya is very good, you have no question to ask.
No, it's
Take
not
your
good.
seat.
But
Yes.
I wanted to say the challenges that, you know.
Ask Dawood the question.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Maybe some information to the chair. Maybe some information to Dawood, Mheshimiwa. If it is allowed. Let me proceed. Mr. Speaker, if you compare KQ with other airlines, airline business requires a lot of investment. The Ethiopian Airways we talk about, look at how much money the government of Ethiopia has invested in terms of equipment, in terms of the airport. If we look at Qatar Airways and the partnership they have together with Rwanda Air was collapsed. Qatar Airways has invested money. Now it's getting up. If you look at airlines in Africa, look at South African Airways.
Honorable Kimayo, you are definitely the only stranger in Jerusalem. Take your seat. You are the only stranger in Jerusalem. Take your seat. Ruto.
Thank you, Chair. Allow me to take also a moment to weigh in to the request by the mover of the statement that the committee should relook at that particular statement.
Kimayo, do you live in Kenya? Go and read a book by Chinua Achebe called The Trouble with Nigeria. Go on.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair. The trouble within KQ and KQ operation, as rightly said, I would wish to invite the committee probably also to study America. We've been traveling, and if you go to the United States, not even a single airline that the state is owning. All the airlines are run by private citizens, and America is doing well in the states and outside the states. And they are doing well. They have never come down. For this one that the Kenyan government has been pumping every now and then resources. To me, I think the committee should also evaluate and tell us, is there any more profiting for government to own 40% or 48%? To be struggling, putting control, interfering with governance issues, putting up people who have no interest of the business, but people have other interests because they are coming, quote unquote, from the government point of view. It is time we need to agree. The other day we were discussing the issue of privatization. if the government can only reduce their shares to normal investment level, and then allow private people with business concept and mind and entrepreneurial aspect so that they can be able to run this business, we ensure that it is effective in operation, serves the country well, connects Kenya to the other world, and makes profits, retains employment, creates opportunities, and then reduce the other resources to other opportunities to develop the country. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.
Member for Kamkunji, Hassan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity to speak on the statement made by Honorable Daud. I think Kenya Airways has serious problems that can only be redone or redeemed by a serious reform or change. And to a certain extent, it appears that is not happening. It is a bottomless pit. It's not because it is state-owned or it is partly private. There are many airlines in the world that are partly owned in partnership. It simply means it does not have the right management and organizational mentality to survive in the competitive environment of airlines that we have. For example, 3 times in the last 3 or 4 months, I've been traveling with Kenya Airways from Amsterdam and from London. And both occasions, they canceled when we had checked in without any explanation. If you are going to run an airline like that, there is no question that you're going to fail. So I want to add my voice to the other speakers to say that we should stop funding Kenya Airways. We should cut our costs and let it go private or let it go down so that a new airline that can serve the Kenyan public can come into its place. Because Nairobi is a central hub, is a regional hub, it's an African hub. Unless we are going to have a great airline like Ethiopian Airlines, we're never going to be a competitive country. Our airports are not served very well because of the weakness of Kenya Airways. We're not competitive enough. So Kenya Airways is taking down the development of Kenya's aviation industry. It is taking down Kenya's tourism industry. And it's a high time that we move forward so that we can reestablish Nairobi as the international African hub. It should be.
Point made. The last one, Robert Mbui.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. You know, Mr. Speaker, one of the pillars of business is basically customer service. And I think one of the problems that KQ has is customer service. And Speaker, for customer service, we need to interrogate how they train their workers. Mr. Speaker, you know, the Parliamentary Service Commission is actually one of the biggest customers of KQ.
True.
Now, when we have a case like the one we had recently of a member that is living with disability on a wheelchair, left at the airport and they've traveled with his wheelchair, that totally is unacceptable. Mr. Speaker, I want to remind you that when you were the leader of minority in the Senate, you went to Kenya Airways to take a flight from Nairobi to Mombasa, not even an international flight, but they refused to allow you to board because you did not have your identity card. They knew you, they saw you.
I didn't have the identity, but I had their platinum card with me.
You had your platinum card, you had, I mean, they every day, they even could recognize you, but they refused to allow you to. What kind of PR is that? Yes. What kind of customer service is that? Yes. I think KQ needs to train their staff a lot better, otherwise they'll keep going down like Yusuf has said. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Daud.
Mr. Speaker.
Daud, hold. Let me give the last one to Rindikiri.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. What I see in KQ, Mr. Speaker, is poor management expenses controls. Mr. Speaker, the issue that we are witnessing at KQ is purely because of management is not able to control the expenses. And if you look at the ratio of management, it is beyond the acceptable international standard of that 5%. Mr. Speaker,
Honorable
Another
Krima,
commodity, there's two.
order, Honorable Krima. You're obviously not listening. He was saying they don't have enough cargo. Krima, you're obviously not listening. He was saying they don't have enough cargo planes. He didn't say they don't have any cargo planes. He said they don't have enough cargo planes. He didn't say they don't have any cargo planes. Those are two different things. Can you finish? Why not?
yes, Mr. Speaker, Honorable Kalema is blind and is ignorant that Bode constituency produces a lot of flowers in this country. So I know I have more information than him. Mr. Speaker, I am saying, because we have certain route that KQ used to work so much on air travel, and it look at his business focus. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Dawood, colleagues are saying.
Yes, Mr.
You
Speaker.
see the variance with what you read to the House?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I understand what my colleagues and Honorable Maundu required. And Mr. Speaker, it's not that I do not know about Kenya Airways. When I was, and then even the banks, they could not be paid. They were converted into shareholder loans. Regarding the equipment, what Honorable Kainan has talked about, I could probably agree halfway. But Mr. Speaker, the main problem has been forex hedging in the fuel. But we have, as a committee, invited Kenya Airways to come either on Tuesday or the clerk, other members, unless the Speaker...
Honorable Dawood, what you do, you pick the Hansard, read what Dawood, what you do, you pick the Hansard, read what your colleagues have said. It's a total variance with the statement you read to the House. In fact, I don't know whether you are reading a statement about Kenya Airways. So go back and get a response taking into account all the interventions we have received on the floor, and bring a statement on Thursday. No, Thursday is the State of the Nation address. Bring a statement on Wednesday afternoon.
Mr. Speaker, I would request the statement to come after our meeting with Kenya Airways with the questionnaire.
When are you meeting Kenya Airways?
We are meeting most probably either on Tuesday or Thursday. We're just waiting.
So you bring the following Tuesday?
Yes, that's what I would
And you
request.
invite Honorable Maungu to attend your meeting to interrogate them.
Mr. Speaker, I would even go further to request that we be allowed to use the county hall if there are other members who
Permission
want...
granted. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, can I now read the other statement?
Zamzam, yes.
Mr. Speaker, Honorable Zamzam had asked four questions. The report on, and she's got them already. Can I go to straight the answers? Yes. Honorable Speaker, the committee received a response from the Ministry of Roads and Transport through the Clerk of the National Assembly, which I wish to make. Regarding the report on the current operational status of the ferries in use at Likoni and Mutongwe Channel, including the safety audit reports conducted in the last 12 months, the ministry submitted that Kenya Ferry Services currently operates a fleet of 5 ferries at the Likoni Channel: MV Safari, MV Jambo, MV Likoni, MV Kwale, and MV Harambe. A 6th ferry, MV Nyayo, is currently out of service for long-term maintenance program and dry docking. Honorable Speaker, the detailed operational status of each ferry is as follows. MV Safari, which is 4 years old, and it's operational with expected dry docking in January 2026. MV Jambo, 7 years old, it's fully operational, and we expect the prow and hull repairs and replacement of propulsion engines by March 2026. MV Likoni, it's 14 years old, operational with all machinery functioning, recently underwent prow and hull repairs in May 2025, awaiting dry docking for underwater hull painting. MV Kwale, 14 years old, operational throughout the year. A tender has been awarded to Kenya Shipyards Limited for its upcoming structural and hull repairs. MV Harambe, 34 years old, operational and considered the most reliable for large vehicles and trailers. It is first in line for dry docking in the current financial year, with work scheduled to begin, it should have begun on 4th of August 2025. The vessel is due for decommissioning and replacement. And the last one is MV Nyayo, 34 years old. It's non-operational, undergoing long-term maintenance. Honorable Speaker, regarding upgrades, several measures are underway in the current financial year, including the repair and maintenance of firefighting systems on all operational ferries. 2, procurement of prow repairs for MV Jambo and MV Harambe. 3, acquisition of new propulsion engines for MV Jambo and new propellers for MV Harambe and MV Likoni. 4, dry docking of MV Likoni, Harambe, Safari, and Jambo. 6, regarding the immediate measures the Ministry of Roads and Transport has undertaken to address the current state of ferry services at Likoni and Mutongwe crossings. Honorable Speaker, the Ministry has implemented both short-term and long-term measures. The short-term measures include strategic deployment of larger ferries, MV Jambo and Safari, for pedestrians and smaller ferries, MV Kwale and Likoni, for vehicles to manage increased pedestrian traffic. 2, conducting regular maintenance of existing ferry fleet. And 3, deploying police officers to assist in crowd control at the terminals. The long-term measures include acquisition of 1 new ferry expected to be delivered in April 2026, development of traffic circulation plan, which includes improving waiting bays and expanding ramps, and constructing a modern pedestrian holding bay on Likoni side. 3, implementation of socio-economic programs to reduce congestion, such as developing a special economic zone to provide alternative employment, establish a market in Likoni to serve local residents, upgrading Likoni sub-county to attract commercial services and reduce the need for cross-channel travel. 7, regarding an explanation on why the new emergency and safety equipment, including life jackets, life buoys, and other essential tools ordered by the government have not yet been delivered or commissioned, and indicate when they shall be deployed at the ferry terminals. Honorable Speaker, the authority maintains that all ferries are equipped with requisite life-saving appliances, LSAs, including life jackets, life buoys, and rigid life rafts. In the procurement of safety and periodic process, aging equipment is regularly disposed of and replaced based on identified shortages. There is no single delayed order for equipment. Instead, the authority engages in ongoing procurement to ensure a constant state of readiness New equipment is deployed as soon as it is procured through the retrain cycle. Regarding the steps taken by the ministry to ensure modernization of the ferry services and construction of alternative crossings to decongest and ensure safety of persons, the Likoni and Mutongo ferry crossings. Honorable Speaker, the strategy for modernization and improvement of ferry services, developing a traffic circulation plan with improved infrastructure such as segregated traffic lanes and modern Matatu terminals, replacing 3 old ferries with new modern vessels, with the first one expected in April 2026, conducting continuous maintenance and upgrades of the existing fleet. Diversion of traffic. The operationalization of Dongokundu bypass, this has already diverted over 60% of the 6,000 vehicles that previously used to use the Likoni crossing. Implementing the Likoni aerial cable car project. Once completed, this project is expected to divert an average of 180,000 people daily. I will repeat that. Implementing the Likoni aerial cable car project. Once completed, this project is expected to divert an average of 180,000 people daily. Construction of Mombasa Gate Bridge. This future project will provide an additional crossing option, further diverting vehicles from the ferry service. In conclusion, Honorable Speaker, the Ministry assures the House that the ferries in operation are in good condition and are adequately insured. The Ministry is committed to the safety, efficiency, and modernization of the ferry services and the surrounding transport infrastructure. I read this on behalf, Honorable Speaker, I submit on behalf of Honorable G.K. Karaoke, Chairman, Departmental Committee of Transport and Infrastructure.
Thank you, Honorable Daud. Zamzam.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika, sijaridhika na majibu yake Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa sababu hata hii MV Safari, MV Jambo ambao anasema iko sawa, ukienda hata sasa hivi Mheshimiwa Spika, zile stairs zote zimeisha. Watu wakikanyaga mnapata mguu umeingia ndani, mtu aweza kuanguka ndani ya maji. Na Mheshimiwa Spika, area ambao walikuwa wamesema inanunuliwa, kila tukija kuuliza hapa bungeni huwa wanakuja wanakuambia 2025 tarehe fulani, mwezi fulani. Sasa leo amsukuma paka 2026, wakati ambapo pesa zilishatolewa za kununua feri Mheshimiwa Spika. Na Mheshimiwa Spika pia amezungumzia juu ya zile barabara ambazo zatumiwa na magari. Mheshimiwa Spika, wakati feri inasimama ukienda pale utasikitika. Wananchi wanatumia barabara ya gari na gari pia zinaondoka, kunaweza tokea ajali kubwa pale sana Mheshimiwa Spika. Kwa hiyo ni vizuri na ni jukumu la wale ambao wanahusika pale wahakikishe barabara ya wananchi iwe inatumiwa na wananchi, lakini sio kuja kutuelezea ndio barabara imetengezwa, lakini wanaruhusu pia wananchi wanapita pale, malori yanapita pale, yaweza ikatokea ajali kubwa sana pale ndani ya feri. Kisha wakati feri hasa wakati wa jioni, watu wanajazwa sana Mheshimiwa Spika ndani ya feri moja. Unapata watu wamejaa mpaka wamesimama kwa ramp. Ile ramp wakati mwingine huwa inateguka. Ikiteguka inaweza kumwaga watu baharini Mheshimiwa Spika. Kwa hiyo mimi nataka kusema kamiti ambayo inashughulika na mambo haya, ndugu yangu Rahim na wenzake, wahakikishe kuwa wanaleta habari ambazo ni za sawa katika bunge hili, kuhakikisha kuwa wananchi wa Mombasa hasa wanaotumia kivuko cha feri wako salama pale kwenye feri Mheshimiwa Spika. Jambo lingine amezungumzia juu ya Dongokundu. Mheshimiwa Spika, kuna tetesi kubwa sana pale Dongokundu. Magari ambayo wanatuma kupitia upande ule wanataka kuanza kulipisha. Kuna mtu amekaa pale alipishe magari kwenda upande wa pili. Mheshimiwa Spika, Kenya nzima barabara zimejengwa, Thika Super Highway, mabarabara mengine, kwengine hawalipishi. Kwa nini wakazi wa Mombasa na Pwani waweze kuanza kulipishwa kutumia barabara ambao wametumiwa kujengwa na ushuru wao? Ikiwa feri wanataka pesa, waangalie barabara magari ambayo yanapita pale walipishe kama kawaida pale. Lakini Dongokundu, kama mama county wa Mombasa, siwezi kuwa radhi kuona kuwa watu wangu wanalipishwa pesa kuvuka upande wa Dongokundu kwenda upande ule mwingine. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, mimi naomba Mheshimiwa Rahim na kamati yako muweze kuangalia, na hata wale ambao wanasema wanataka kupanua ile barabara kutoka ndani ya feri Kuna wale ambao walikuwa na maduka yao pale, kuna wanabiashara walikuwa pale, wengi hawajahusishwa katika jambo hili. Na juzi walitaka kufanya maandamano, mimi nikasema hapana, wacha, hili ni swala ambalo nitakuja kuliuliza ili muweze kupata haki yenu. Ikiwa kuna kitu kinataka kufanyika na serikali, tunajua miundo misingi ni lazima ili serikali ya Kenya ama Kenya iweze kupendeza. Lakini wale ambao wataathirika lazima waitwe kwenye meza ya mzunguko, waweze kupewa na wao haki yao. Hata mtu akitoka pale anajua biashara yangu imevunjwa lakini naenda sehemu nyingine. Lakini wasipohusishwa ndio tunaanza kuletea president makosa ambayo hata hajui hana. Kwa hiyo mimi nakuomba ndugu yangu ambao wako kwenye kamiti hii, muweze kufuatilia hili jambo, muhakikishe kuwa hizi feri MV Jambo pia stairs zake ni mbaya. Watu wakipanda wanadondoka kwa maji. Hatutaki hizo story kabisa. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Speaker.
Rahim. Yes, Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, you know when you listen to Mheshimiwa Zamzam and how fluent she is in Swahili, we tend to get lost at times in her very good Swahili. But I really wanted
reminds you of a book by Shaban Robert called Wasifu Wasidi bin Saad.
Hey. Hicho sijasoma. So let me not even attempt to say what I wanted to say in Swahili, Honorable Speaker. And even as Honorable Rahim responds, because the Dongokundu bypass is a very critical link to link the mainland and the south coast, rather the south coast and the island of Mombasa. But we also have the ferry connection. And you know, Honorable Speaker, the policy that government was pursuing in the construction of many of these bypasses is to create convenience and especially to serve the tourism sector in the south coast. But for the locals, and you will realize, Honorable Zamzam, many of the people who traverse between the island and the mainland in the south coast, the bulk of the population uses the ferry because it's shorter for them. So I was really pleading that for us as leaders, we need also to be informed by the policy that the government is trying to pursue to ensure, one, that you create those alternative routes, but where it is possible to toll these roads, because they are huge capital-intensive investments that the people of Kenya are making in creating many of these bypasses. That is why you see the expressway. We pay to use the expressway, because we have the alternative of the old Mombasa
the transmission of energy, sorry. But Honorable Speaker, it is important to bring to the attention of this House that for the last 2 years, we have budgeted enough money to be able to generate enough energy to be able to propel the economic activities of this country, Honorable Speaker. However, Honorable Speaker, it has not been easy because sometimes we depend on donor funding and sometimes, Honorable Speaker, because again, much of the donor funding, Honorable Speaker, it is engineered by renewable energy. And Honorable Speaker, with the global warming that is the talk of this, the world, actually the whole world, then we need to go to the renewable energy, where we are talking about using the very resource that our God has provided for this country, and that is what the sun, and we can do a lot through solar, wind, Honorable Speaker, and I want to report, Honorable Speaker, the Turkana wind power brings to us almost over 110 megawatts in a day through the wind power generation. Honorable Speaker, we had a discussion as a committee as to how then do we bring down the cost of electricity. Honorable Speaker, there were some suggestions which had been placed. Honorable Speaker, most of the investors who want to invest in the energy generation are not Kenyans, they are foreign. So we as a committee decided that we do a hybrid financial system of supporting this very important sector, Honorable Speaker. And we decided as a committee that if you're a Kenyan, then we can use the denomination of the Kenya shillings. And if you're a foreigner, again, Honorable Speaker, we can be able to bring in the foreign denomination so that we are able to encourage all investors, local investors, and any other foreign investor who comes into the country. Second, Honorable Speaker, we did agree that most of these agreements have not been passing through the office of the Attorney General. Honorable Speaker, it was a debate that we discussed in our meeting, and it was agreed that for every agreement that is to be signed, Honorable Speaker, then the Office of the Auditor General must be involved. But at the same time, Honorable Speaker, it was raised by the ministry of the time and maybe the delay or bureaucracy that the Office of the Auditor General would take. So we agreed again on a time frame, Honorable Speaker, and the report stipulates very clearly that if in that auction, energy auction that will be done, 30 days is the maximum number of days that we give the Office of the Auditor General to be able to go through and be able to either give the concurrence of that office or does not give an approval and give an advice, a legal advice on what should Attorney General, sorry, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, over and above that, there was an aspect of whether the reports and this agreement should be coming to Parliament. Honorable Speaker, I want to say that as a committee, we agreed that this House has two options. Either we wait for the Auditor General to do their audit and maybe that report goes to PAC. Or as a Committee on Energy, we can also request through the Energy Act, the ministry is supposed to give us an annual report on these kind of issues. So again, we have agreed that instead of coming to Parliament, Parliament will have an opportunity either from inquiries that have been done by the Auditor General or as a committee of this House, we can make a request. But most importantly, Honourable Speaker, we did put some a clause in this report saying that the Auditor General can make a special audit on a matter related to these PPAs. And that is a very fundamental aspect, Honourable Speaker, so that again we don't have to wait until the end of the financial year or a report is done. If as a committee we think that we need to request the Auditor General to be able to do that, then we, as a committee, we have agreed that the Auditor General can be requested to do a special audit so that we are able to. And this, honorable members, we want to just inform you, is that we have agreed as a committee that any agreement must not go beyond the 7 cents per kilowatt hour, Honorable Speaker. We find that some of these independent power producers, particularly outside the grid area, Honorable Speaker, are actually exploiting Kenyans by charging almost 23 shillings per kilowatt hour. I don't know how many times that is. Honorable Speaker, this is something that we have looked into, and we have agreed that in any agreement signed by the government, it must not go beyond the 7 cents per kilowatt hour, Honorable Speaker. And I'm saying this because geothermal, which is the cheapest and which is, we do pay KenGen and GDC. No, it is KenGen, Honorable Speaker. We pay only 5 cents per kilowatt hour. That is what, that is the amount of money KPLC buy energy from KenGen. Honorable Speaker, we have also noticed that the use of diesel engines, particularly again in the off-grid area, has really affected the cost of electricity, Honorable Speaker. So without much ado, Honorable Speaker, I beg and I humbly request this House to consider and approve this report, agree with the committee that it is the high time. Honorable Speaker, with the moratorium, it has actually stopped investors from coming. So, Honorable Speaker, I want to make a humble request to my colleagues that we support this report and be able, so that we can be able to open up the space. There are so many members of my committee who are around, Honorable Speaker, who will be speaking to this, and maybe some of the issues that I have not been able to speak to. Then, Honorable Speaker, I wish to call upon Honorable Mulanya. Honorable Speaker, Elisha Odhiambo is telling me he's more senior than Mulanya, but because we had agreed that Honorable Mulanya will be, I know it is true, he's a ranking member of the committee. Yes, in the sector also. He used to work with KPLC. And he was not sacked. He actually resigned. Thank you. So I will ask Honorable Mulanya to second.
Yeah. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to second the motion moved by the Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Energy, for adoption of the addendum report of the Departmental Committee on Energy on the inquiry into the matter of reduction of the electricity cost in the country. Honorable Speaker, as the Chairperson has ably outlined the comprehensive findings and recommendations from our inquiry, I will not belabor the details. Instead, I will only emphasize why this report deserves the full support of this House. Honorable Speaker, this is not an ordinary report. It is an informative blueprint shaped through extensive stakeholder and public consultations, as well as expert analysis, all aimed at ensuring that every Kenyan access affordable, reliable, and sustainable electricity by tackling inefficiencies across the energy sector. Madam Speaker, building on the Chairperson's presentation, I would like to emphasize a few pivotal aspects that highlight the urgency and the impact of our proposals. First, on power purchase agreements, we are proposing that the moratorium on new PPAs be lifted, but with strong safeguards, which will include competitive auctions inspired by South African successful model, integration of battery storage systems to stabilize the grid, and hybrid currency contract. The hybrid currency, Madam Speaker, is the one that our chair has said that we are considering to have both the US dollar and the Kenyan currency, with the preference of the Kenyan currency for the investors who are the locals. Madam Speaker, secondly, we must deal decisively with power losses, which cost Kenyans billions every year. But this can only be done by fast-tracking key transmission projects through public public-private partnerships, and deploying smart grid technology, we can cut these losses to 14.5% within 3 years. That means that that will lower costs and a modern, efficient grid for, to the system. Thirdly, we need to operationalize reforms so that we optimize geothermal energy as baseload, completing the Kenya off-grid solar access project to expand off-grid solar access and delink Kenya Power and Lighting Company from government project management, so that we strengthen efficiency and restore commercial discipline in our utility. Madam Speaker, the report also calls for the creation of an independent IPP office to bring order and transparency in private power contracting. Forensic audit on pricing, licensing, and major projects such as Lake Turkana Power Wind will ensure accountability and fairness. Where necessary, non-compliant contracts will be reviewed or even terminated. Madam Speaker, at this time, EPRA must tighten its role. This will help enforce supply standards, review tariffs for night use and special economic zone, and stick to strict timelines in decision making. On heavy fuel oils, the report is recommending standard procedures, bulk procurement, and shift to liquefied natural gas through the Mombasa-Dar es Salaam pipeline. This will reduce costs and support our transition to cleaner energy. Madam Speaker, looking ahead, Kenya must also embrace emerging technologies, captive solar with net metering, green hydrogen, and strong consumer education. This will position us as a regional leader in sustainable energy innovation. Madam Speaker, this report is unapologetically pro-consumer, pro-reform, and pro-Kenya. It exposes inefficiencies, dismantles opaque deals, and lays the foundation for affordable power and lasting energy security. Madam Speaker, as pointed out by the chair, we noted from our inquiry that one of the problems was the opaqueness of the previous contract. We remember very well that in one sitting, we had a session with a sitting Attorney General of the Republic of Kenya who said that he was not even aware of the content of this the existing power purchase agreements, which were charging very excessive prices at that particular time. And that's why we are saying that to have these particular safeguards, these particular contracts must go through the Attorney General as the legal advisor of the country. In conclusion, Madam Speaker, I second and urge honorable members to support and adopt this report. And in doing so, I reaffirm our commitment to powering Kenya's growth for affordable, sustainable, and transparently. Madam Speaker, now allow the senior rank member, the Honorable, through your permission. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I second.
Honorable members, I now propose the question that the House adopts the addendum report of the Departmental Committee on Energy on the inquiry into the matter of the reduction of electricity costs in the country, laid on the table of this House on Tuesday, 11th November, 2025. There was someone from the committee of... the committee we had requested earlier. You may proceed.
Start then the committee. Honorable Speaker, I rise to support this addendum, and I want to thank the chair and the members of the Committee of Energy for the great work they have put in. And this addendum is very important for this country, as the chair, Energy, Honorable Gikaria, has said. For those who joined us for the KEPSA retreat in Mombasa, all the members who joined us, you remember one of the topical issues that cut across all sectors, whether it was infrastructure, whether it was the energy sector engagements, whether it was the tourism sector engagements, was the cost of energy in this country. And you cannot deal with the cost of energy without dealing with generation of the same energy. And I want to thank the chair and the committee because they have dealt with these issues extensively to ensure that we encourage the investors who are coming to sign in new PPAs to be able to generate more power and allow the country to have more power that will be able to bring the cost of electricity and power in the country further down to enable the industrialization of our country and also allow the connectivity of power to our rural constituents. Because whenever and wherever you connect power to people, you change their lives in a big way. Besides allowing them to have power, maybe to charge their phones, to have lighting in their houses, you also deal with health matters for them. Because those who expose themselves to the use of paraffin as a source of lighting, and especially those young ones who are doing their homework with the korobois or the tin lamps and paraffin kerosene lamps, expose their health to risks of inhaling fumes from paraffin that become detrimental to their health. Therefore, as leaders, we have an obligation to support this addendum. Two, Honorable Speaker, is the issue that had been raised previously by the committee, which they have now revised, on restricting that every power purchase agreement that is signed must be denominated in our local currency. While as we all appreciate that many of the investors that are coming into our country are coming from other countries, and indeed, a good proportion of the investors in the power sector are actually foreigners. And therefore, it would not be right to restrict them to our local currency. It's only fair to allow people to transact in the currency that they're able to transact, even as we work together in the National Treasury to ensuring that we have a stable exchange rate so that, again, the exchange rate fluctuations that are reflected on the bills are not too much. But even when there are fluctuations of exchange rate, if the cost of power at the point of generating is low, and if there are more players in the sector, then prices are bound to come down. And Honorable Speaker, I beg to support this addendum and thank the committee because indeed, as we promised the private sector under the auspices of KEPSA in Mombasa, we will be addressing this matter, and now we are addressing it only a few days after we left Mombasa in that engagement with KEPSA. And I hope those in KEPSA can see that we actually mean business on the matters we engage. And I'm certain the sectoral committees that were dealing with energy, both from KEPSA and from the National Assembly, when they do their quarterly review, they will be able to report this as one of the achievements that came out of the Mombasa engagement. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I beg to support.
Honorable Mawade.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I wish to contribute towards this very important bill for the country. We have started seeing some rationing, but as we open up the moratorium, removing, charging us 28 shillings of the dollar, 28 cents of the dollar, and 32 cents of the dollar. Let's stick to the correct and the fair price. When you sign a 20-year contract, you should be able to recover at the rate of about 6 cents. Be able to recover at the rate of about 6 cents or 7 cents or 6 shillings or 7 shillings within the next 10 to 12 years. Thank you. I support.
Honorable Member for Kuria East. I see you're number 2. Member for Kuria East, are you here? Okay. Member for Chebalungu. And let's keep it brief because there's a lot of interest on this. Honorable Mugambi, you're next. I'm just following the list.
Yeah, thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. From the onset, allow me to support the report that has been tabled and actually conveyed by our chair. Honorable Speaker, we sat through several meetings, through several committee meetings, interrogating, getting to understand clearly what happened in the past, where there were some IPPs that were signed that are very costly and costing the common mwananchi a lot of money. Honorable Speaker, upon scrutiny, scrutinizing the same, we realized that the type of IPP or the contracts that were entered into, some of them carried obligations. Honorable Speaker, in a situation whereby you force Kenya Power to purchase through take or pay, where you produce and expect Kenya Power to purchase your power, even if that power is not used, Honorable Speaker, has gone, eventually has transfers this particular cost to the common mwananchi. Honorable Speaker, the issue of currency, where only foreign currency was allowed to dominate. Honorable Speaker, as a committee, we considered that one, and we said we adopt the hybrid system, where if you're a Kenyan, you are allowed to bid using the Kenyan currency. Honorable Speaker, if this report that we've tabled today is approved by this House, and we encourage that all the members approve this one, this report will actually go into curing the issues that were the issues that the contracts entered through IPPs were not in order. Honorable Speaker, allow me to support my chair and to encourage that we, as members of this august House, also approves this recommendation by the Committee of Energy. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The Honorable Mugambi, Member for Buri.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, it is not only capture that have interest on the cost of energy in this country. Our government agenda of manufacturing is dependent on availability of affordable energy. Madam Speaker, we are putting up so many ICT hubs. There is the Nyota program, there is manufacturing, there is e-commerce. Almost everything now is moving around the availability of affordable energy. Madam Speaker, as I like to support this report, one of the things that I expected to hear in this report is the timelines, because we can't wait forever. Madam Speaker, we need to be very specific because we made so many promises to Kenyans that during our reign, the cost of energy will go down. That deficiency in this report.
We are not a monarchy, so you can't say during our reign.
During our time.
Our term.
Our time. Thank you, Madam Speaker, so gracious. Madam Speaker, if you look at your energy bill, there is something called fuel levy. Madam Speaker, then you go down there, see VAT. There is element of double taxation on my energy bill, which I haven't seen being addressed in this report. I'm happy that the tariff of the agreement has been addressed. But, Madam Speaker, it's very important to note that there are so many alternative sources of energy and agreement which are pending. There's solar proposals. Many people want to invest in solar energy, wind energy. Madam Speaker, this report should have brought it very clearly that the government policy is now to enhance the potential or to annex the potential of wind and solar energy. But if we continue and all the old tariffs agreement were all based on hydro. And that's how, and supplemented with diesel or generators. Madam Speaker, we must reach a point where we are saying, up to this point, this is what we want to see being enhanced, and every other Committee of Energy comes with a report saying 5 projects of solar and all 5 projects of wind have been implemented. But if we continue relying and entering into agreement on the same old hydro energy, we will not be able to bring the cost of electricity down. But Madam Speaker, it's good, at least there is something that we can see. There were so many attempts that were done. We hope when we progress, I know there are so many interests out there. I know the committee is under a lot of influence because this sector has been invaded by very serious cartels. I'm happy that this committee now has gone against that, and now they are able to confront them and to give the Kenyan the best option. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
What's your point of order? Honorable Karoli, what's your point of order? Honorable Alicia, you just walked in. Okay. Okay, but you're just on a point of order because I'm following the queue. What's your point of order? Give him the mic.
Madam Speaker, I listened to the member for Buri, and the last statement he made was that in this sector is full of cartels. That's true. I think that statement, he said cartels and influence, that statement,
You want him to withdraw or
he should withdraw it because it's not, he has not given valid facts. Number one, let me...
No, you've let him respond now. You've made your point.
And he said the committee is under influence. Which influence? From where?
Okay. Honorable Member for Buri.
So, what are you telling us?
That's actually a very serious allegation to make against the committee.
We are not being influenced.
Okay, let him speak. Give him the right mic. The mic is behind him. Give him the one at the front. They gave him the mic. Honorable Buri, it seems they've given you the mic that's behind you. Honorable Bugambi, go to the mic. They've now switched it off again. They've got the right one now.
Madam Speaker, when I say the committee is under influence, I did not say the committee is under influence to negate progress. And that's my interpretation. What I said, and it is true, what I said, and it is true, there are so many agreements, and they have said it themselves. Many agreements were done outside the legal framework. That's what I meant. But I can't blame Elisha for understanding because he hadn't settled. Yeah, and he was in the Kenya Power. He knows how agreements were being drawn. They were being drawn outside the Attorney General. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
What's your point of order? You're the seconder. What's your point of order?
Madam Speaker, thank you. My problem is that you had ordered that we requested that the Honorable Member for Buri withdraws the statement that the committee is under influence. He's repeating with the interpretation that does not suit any interpretation. So when he says, and it goes on record,